Travis Scott just had his Fortnite concert, and obviously I went in my most appropriate Astroworld hoodie while doing the floss dance and take the L emotes respectively.
My stepdad called me with a vacuum cleaner hose on my dick.
What the fuck were you doing, dog?
I was letting the vacuum cleaner suck my dick.
But before I went, I was watching the Breakfast Club interview, and something that DaBaby said on that interview really stood out to me and got me thinking. He could make a great conscious album on the level of J. Cole if he wanted to, but he can't give you that album right now. He has to make a certain type of music. He has to milk the game for what people already know him by. Because if he gives you something different, you're going to be like, whoa, why are you making this? I wanted to turn up. I wanted some stuff with some bop in it. Which then triggered my memory a few weeks back of Kid Cudi's newest single, Leader of the Delinquents, recently coming out. And as the biggest Kid Cudi fan ever, I realized maybe I'm not the biggest Kid Cudi fan ever. I started to realize that artists are just giving you what you want. And although it's not specifically what you might want, it's what the general public wants. Every comment section of any Kid Cudi song. Those hums can cure cancer. Kid Cudi can make an entire song just humming and it would be the best song ever. Guess what? There's hums in his newest song, Leader of the Delinquents. And although that's technically Kid Cudi's like signature thing in his songs, it's also one of the most safest things to do if you've already built your fan base up and give them more of what they want. When artists do anything that their fan base is not accustomed to, trying to branch out, their fan base immediately tells them it's bad, you sold out, we want the old so-and-so back. A good example of this is Joey. Joey had a few songs such as Teach Me How to Dance and Devastated that when these songs came out, the OG fans of him were so upset. We want the old Joey back. We don't like this singing Joey. But now years later, Teach Me How to Dance is still trash and Devastated is one of his more iconic songs. J. Cole even had a whole song about this whole situation, letting Nas down, making music for the radio instead of making music from his heart. And there's probably a whole lot of other examples in hip-hop where artists can differentiate following the wave of success, doing what's popular and the trends, or just making music that they want to make. That's the difference between an artist like J. Cole and DaBaby.
There's always two ways to go in life. Doing something that is safe and familiar, and then on the opposite end, doing something that might be risky that you're unfamiliar with. And that is the case for Kid Cudi's Speeding Bullet to Heaven, which is like an anomaly, right? And goes against everything that I've been saying. But stuff like this happens. Sometimes you fail. You might be going through low points in life, but it's important to get back up. And that's exactly what he did later projects down the line. And it's important to take risks. For example, of the artists we're talking about, Coffee Bean is by far my favorite Travis Scott song I ever heard, because it's different compared to all of his other songs. It changes the formula. The same for DaBaby. One of my favorite songs of his has to be his intro song off his album Kirk. And Kid Cudi was one of the first artists that later down the line popularized talking about how they feel and what they're going through. And it's one of the reasons why I feel Man on the Moon and Man on the Moon 2 are some of his classic albums. Also because they contain the least amount of humming. I mean, I'm cool with Kid Cudi humming. That's his signature thing, but I compiled an amount of time throughout his albums, how much hums were in there, and the results, they're shocking. Sounds like a clickbait ad, doesn't it? It's crazy to even think that a Fortnite Travis Scott concert got me thinking of what artists do I really enjoy listening to, because as much as I love Kid Cudi and I'm thankful for what he's been able to help me go through within his music, I realized maybe I should take Kid Cudi off that mighty high pedestal that I have him on. I think this was just the realization that Kanye West is by far my favorite artist of all time right now. And that's why I enjoyed so much of X's music. Although they have their signature sound, they can still switch it up and start a screaming song, start a sad song. And that's what I love within an artist. Diversity. The ability to not do the same thing over and over and over again. Kanye West is one of the only popular rap artists that I've seen where all of his albums don't sound the same. And that's one of the many reasons why people dislike Kanye. Artists and people in general need time to find out who they are and evolve and be the person they want to be
maybe that person you heard 2 years ago isn't actually who they are. And that's the sad beauty of whenever an artist dies. You get to look back and reflect on everything they've done up to this point, because their chapter, their story has come to an end. Evolution. And maybe I'm looking too deep into everything, and maybe I'm trying to relate this to my situation in life, but I am a creator that is always constantly changing, that is always doing as much as possible. And I respect any artist or person in general always constantly trying to evolve, not being stuck inside of a box of comfortability, and doing things they love and taking risks. Hopefully I was able to get my point across and this video made some type of sense. But I guess what I was trying to say is evolve. Constantly evolve.